Good morning. Welcome to the latest episode of the Off the Tools podcast. I am your host, Wayne Bettis, and today I'm going to just be talking a little bit about mental challenges and staying focused and sort of really getting the best out of you at each and every day. So some of you may have been following a little journey I've done this week, actually. It was originally it was meant to be a 48-hour fast. And I got lots of questions and messages saying that it's unhealthy, etc., which I'll get to that in a minute. But the main reason that I do these fasts are not to lose weight. Obviously, the weight loss is a consequence of not eating. That's just obvious. But that's not why I do them. From time to time, I noticed that I am dipping. Everyone does it. You know, you go up, you on fire, and then you come back down. And when I notice that things are going down, so it might be that I'm getting a bit too stressed out. Um, it might be that I've got a heavy workload on across the businesses that I run. Whatever it might be, I like to do something that really sort of grains like pushes me mentally. And fasting seems to be a very good challenge to keep me focused. So I set out to do 48 hours. Um, like I say, the whole premises of it, the whole point is just to show that I've got control. So I can pull myself out of the dip and get back up, pointing upwards and winning and succeeding in whatever it is that I'm doing. As like many of you guys, I run a very hectic life. I've got 4 children, 2 dogs, 3 businesses, multiple groups that I run. Um, and I get lots of people reach out and ask me questions. So I give lots of support to people. So yeah, sometimes I do face challenges. And this method of having a mental challenge, it really sort of gives me mental fortitude. It really, it's very hard to explain, which is why I've done the podcast, because I wanted to try and explain to some people, because they sort of question what's the point? Why'd you do it? But what it does for me, and it might not be for you, but for me personally, it just gives me some mental clarity. It gives me some. So while I'm fasting, I find that I am the most productive I ever am. I make shit happen. Things just work because my focus is channeled and I'm channeling my energy. Some of you may experience what I go through, but I because I have so much going on, it's very hard for me to actually stop and focus on tasks. I find myself getting 50, 60% of the way through lots of things, and finishing is a quite a big challenge for me. And doing these fasts really helped me sort of hone that down. I wouldn't recommend doing as long as I did. So I actually reached 72 hours this week, which was the longest that I've done. But for me, do you know, it was amazing. It's really given me back control. It's changed a dip into a rise. So I'm now on the climb again. I want to attack everything. I want to get stuff done. I want to make shit happen. So for me, it works perfectly. If you guys do anything specifically that help you channel your energy, then please post it into the groups. I'd love to have a discussion about it, because I'm always open to new ideas and new ways of doing things. Um, but yeah, so to combat the health argument, yeah, I know it's not the greatest idea not to eat, but it's also not the greatest idea to eat takeaways every night and sink 10 beers at the weekend, So I understand that, yeah, I may be putting my body under a little bit of strain and stress, but for me, I know my body quite well. So I know where my limits are, and I like to be pushed to my limits, because I always want to test to see if I can go that little bit further, that little bit further. So the longest fast I'd ever done was 48 hours. And like I say, I did 72. So I absolutely smashed through what I thought was a ceiling limit for me. And unless you try things, you're never going to know. So that's like a lesson for anything really. If you're comfortable, then in my eyes, you're declining, because if you're comfortable, you're not pushing yourself. And if you, and it's only gonna, yeah, you might be able to ride the crest of the wave, but at some point that wave is going to come back down and you need a way to get back up. And for me, this works brilliantly. And also going for long runs, that's another mental challenge for me. It's physically, of course, it's hard to run as well, but again, I do it for the mental challenge. Some of you may be aware that a few years back, I was in a very dark place, and I had to learn techniques. I spent a lot of money on personal development and training. And then sort of formulated my own sort of method, because everybody's different. And I tried lots of things, and some things didn't work. Like going to the gym, for example, is just not me. That environment doesn't support me in the way that other ways of keeping fit and challenging myself do. So you've got to try things. You've got to see what works for you best. And the best way to do that is try, just try things. So if you're in a bit of a bad place at the minute, work's not coming in, life at home might not be good, whatever it might be, if you just keep doing the same shit, nothing is going to change for the better. So what can you lose by trying something? So you just go for a long walk, go for a long run, try something that will. Oh, excuse me, lads. I had to sneeze there. I'm really sorry. I hope that didn't burst your eardrums. What was I saying? Yeah, try new things. So let's focus a bit on work rather than just life. So if you're quiet at the moment, a lot of people are. I see across all the forums that people are quiet. Don't just sit there thinking, I'm quiet. What can you do to try and change things? Could you email your current client database? Could you produce a flyer and get some local person to go and deliver them? Could you spend a little bit of money on some advertising through Facebook ads or Google AdWords? You've got to try things. Yeah, you might lose some money. It might not work, but unless you try, you're never going to know. There was a post recently about some flyers that people have produced. So this is probably a good point to get out. The one thing I noticed from that post was that everyone that's done it has done one set of flyers and sent them to multiple hundred thousands of houses, which, yeah, it's better than doing nothing, of course, but you've missed an opportunity there. If you had produced three different flyers with three different images, three different content on there with different offers or different call to actions and things like that, you could start your testing procedure. So if you sent 5,000 of each type of flyer out, and you got 10 responses from one batch, but you only got one response from another batch, it's something's telling you that batch is likely to have a better impact. So then you can scale that up. But you're never gonna know the answers to these questions. You can read as much books as you want, you can seek advice as much as you want, but unless you actually get on the ground and start implementing these changes and these tests and try these stuff, you're never ever going to know if things are going to work for you. So yeah, so we went off a bit of a tangent there. I haven't done a podcast for a while. I've been very busy on some other projects and deals that I'm nearly there on. So the podcast is coming back bigger and stronger this year. I've got so much planned. It's like all you guys, when you're busy, it's very difficult to get stuff done, which is why it's so important to make shit happen and actually promise yourself and promise other people that you're going to get things done. If you're not already in the groups, we've got Plum Chat, which is a group to ask a bit of banter, ask questions about plumbing and heating industry. We've got Off the Tools, which is a more business focused group where you can ask advice from other people. We've got a wide spectrum of people, from startup businesses all the way to established nearly nationwide merchant owners. Do you know, it's such a vibrant community. I'd strongly recommend anybody come over and join that group. We've also got Off the Tools Fitness, which is a group where we talk a bit more about the fitness side of life and eating and training and stuff, because I believe it's all linked. Everything we do is linked, and you've got to be, if one side is unbalanced, you're going to find a lot of stress and strain in your life. So make sure you check out them groups. That's all for this episode. If you've got any questions with regards to sort of mental challenges and ways that you can sort of get some clarity and create a direction in life, then please message me, man. Do you know, I'm here to help people as much as I can. Again, I'll stress that I'm not an expert, but I have had lots of experience. And if you and your business are sort of turning over less than £500,000, you know, I've been there, I've done that. So I feel that I can maybe offer you some sort of advice, whether it's right or wrong. You'll have to determine that yourself, but sometimes just batting some ideas around with like-minded people can spur a new creative thought or a new direction that you want to take. That's it. I'm going to leave you all to your day, and I'll hopefully speak to you all soon. No excuses.